Good evening, everybody. I am Gina B here without Mama D tonight. She is not feeling well. The heat is kicking her butt up in Canada, so she's kind of under the weather. Also, while on the subject, we will not have a show next week as well because it's the bash. It's the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. Bob and I are going. My daughter is coming to help, and she's coming in that Thursday night, and we are leaving really early Friday morning. So we are not going to do a show next week either. So we'll see you in 2 weeks after the show. Now, tonight, returning is Karen Abrams. She's a theta healer, as well as many other things. Now, I did make a bio video of her. She's been on the show before. So this is the video that I had made for her the first time she was on the show. Now, it is long. But now just consider, I put a lot of work into this, so please watch and listen. And you do learn a lot more about what she's all about because she does so much, and it's all that benefits you. Okay. So as soon as this is done, she'll be with us, with me, and we'll start.
This week in the Foxton with Gina B and Mama D, we welcome Karen Abrams. Karen is a prominent ThetaHealing Master Healer, gifted intuitive, and international best-selling author. She uses remote sessions to delve deep into belief systems and programs, revealing the seed of disease and blocks to help remove them, allowing clients to feel free. Karen has helped entrepreneurs and professionals release self-sabotaging habits and gain confidence, financial security, and personal fulfillment. Her keen sense of humor, insight, and healing abilities have made her a star on radio, podcasts, and international telesummits. Karen discusses the profound impact of relationships on our lives, emphasizing the importance of the relationship with oneself as the foundation for all other relationships. She explores how our inner dialogue shapes our experiences and leads us to a happy life, highlighting the significance of self-love, accountability, and inner dialogue in relationships with oneself, money, and others, which determines the richness of our lives. Karen is gifted with the ability to tap directly into the subconscious mind to remove limiting beliefs, negative thought loops, trauma, sabotaging patterns, genetic programs, addictions, poverty cycles, and more, allowing individuals to manifest and experience their desired reality and emotional state instantly and permanently. She leads group and private healing sessions using her theta brainwave to safely tap into the subconscious mind, body, organs, emotions, and energetic state of her clients. While in the theta state, Karen utilizes her gift as a claircognizant to receive information from God or Source and draws direction from spiritual guides, ancestors, past lives, higher self, and loved ones that have passed to facilitate and witness the healing and release of blockages, fears, triggers, ancestral trauma, trapped emotions, and more. Her unique and miraculous healing gift as a channeler includes the ability to communicate with the body and organs, finding and healing the root cause of any sickness, pain, and disease that can't be explained or fully cured by conventional medicine. And we welcome you and everyone to the Foxton.
Now I remember doing that. Hi, Karen. Welcome back. I remember doing that audio, and at the very end of it, like I finally made it all the way through because it takes me a while, a couple times to, make sure I get it right. And at the end, I remember I was like swallowing funny. So it was like when we welcome, and I was like, oh, I was gonna choke, I was gonna cough, I was gonna something, and I'm like, oh, so it was like that second to get it back.
Yeah, just a little clearing of the throat right there.
Right. So hi, David. He's down in Australia.
Oh, is David part of the audience?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'll put up their comments as we go, and so now if you watch that video, she does do a lot, and it's all these things to benefit you, and it's all these things that kind of choke us out in our own lives all the time, right? And now, how did you realize, and when was the first time that you knew that you could actually do something like this? What made you even think that you could do something like this?
How dare me?
How dare
you? What made you think you could do that? It was, I came to this work, I think the way that a lot of people come to something new in their lives, by being a bystander. I had a friend who was working with the founder of Theta Healing, Vienna Steibel, and she had all of these, host of issues that were going on in her life at that point in time. She had a long-term relationship that wasn't going where she wanted it to go. She had health issues that doctors weren't able to help her. And she had so much baggage, so much emotional baggage that it bled into her business, where she was getting in fights with her clients. And yeah, I know.
It's not good.
So her business was just sort of, flailing, and a brilliant person. And so she started working with Vienna, and her health started to improve. She started finding better practitioners who could help her with this. She transformed her relationship into a really beautiful friendship. And then she started making money. Like, she got out of her own way and she started making money. And so I went, oh, wow. My little antenna went up, especially when the money thing happened. And because that was one of my biggest challenges at that point in time. So I decided, when she was hosting Vienna for a basic theta healing class, that I would go. And it was about 2.5-day class. And at the end of it, I remember thinking or feeling very grounded and expansive and calm and in my body in a way that I hadn't been in a very, very long time. And I'm like, what is this? And I was walking through my apartment going like, what? Like, what is this room? I didn't know there was room here. What are you talking about? And so I realized that there was, the backstory is that I had anxiety for 6 years. I'd been working with a therapist for 1.5 years at this point. And we were doing really well. We were doing great work together. I love him and am grateful for him to this day. And in that, but still, even then, I woke up terrified every day. I jolted into existence in the morning, and I was trembling all day long. And I know no one could see it, but I could feel it. Like, my heart was really beating out of my chest.
That shaky and all that.
Yeah. So, I was just kind of walking around like that. And I know it's working, and it's going to take its time. But in that moment of all that groundedness and expansiveness and clarity, I went, oh my gosh, this anxiety's gone. My anxiety is gone. It was the first time in 6 years that my body was out of fight or flight. And usually when I ever calmed down, there was this moment, like, it would last like 30 seconds, maybe a minute. And I could feel my body going, nope, we're going back to what's normal. And I'm like, no. And then we go back to, and so it was, it was so disheartening, because that was the new normal, was just to always be in constant fight or flight and fear. And so when that happened, I was so blown away. I just signed up for every single class I could take, and including practice classes and everything, just learn what the heck I learned, like, what was this thing? Well, how did that do that? And so about 3 weeks later, some of the symptoms started coming back, the shaking, but, let's say it was at an 8 or something like that. It was now flashing at like a 2. And so then I just started learning how to do I was getting trained, and I was practicing all the time. And so I just think what happened was it just chipped it away. And at some point in time, I stopped noticing that it was there. And, it was quite, then you just have something else on your list.
So it's not so much, but it is like a practice makes perfect, but it's actual living it.
Yeah. Living in and doing it, and being consistent. And, anytime you have a skill, when you can really put in the hours to do that. And I think I was in a practice group 3 times a week and practicing on my own. And because I was obsessed, I was so blown away by this thing that had done more than anything I had worked with. Mm-hmm. And I definitely could have been a candidate for medication if I had wanted to, because it was pretty serious. And so I was happy to be able to, and I understand the need for medication for some people. So this is not talking about or disparaging that in any way. It was just that I was happy that I could do it without it, that it was possible to free myself without going into that area.
Yeah,
And,
no,
and right.
That's a really big point, because
Yeah.
everyone, and especially on children, doctors jump right into putting kids on medication. Whatever issue that they may have, they want to medicate them right away. So is it good to start a thing like this, doing theta healing on children, to get them, ready for adulthood without medication?
There, you look. The fun thing about doing theta with kids is it's really quick, because adults, we have stories, and we went back to here, and our mom did this, and I remember they left without me. Like, we have all these stories because we have history. Kids don't really have much history. Their history is like on the head of a stamp. So I've worked with kids before, and it's really fast. I had this one kid who actually gave me a testimonial when he was 7 years old and said that he wished that he always felt the way he felt when he worked with me, which I thought was very sweet. And so I could work with kids at just a much smaller amount of time, and they receive it because they don't have as many defenses. There's not as much of a benefit to resist. And, it's an interesting little conundrum with kids. It's interesting.
Yeah, kids today, I mean, they're thrown into the world more so than we were when we were children,
Yeah.
So they're dealing with a lot of adult traumas.
Yes.
So it's tough on them, and it is. And I feel, I feel like what you do is such a necessity. It's a necessity for all of us, because I don't know anybody that doesn't have anxiety over something. I don't know anybody that doesn't have some kind of relationship issue, financial issue, any of these things. We all have something.
Yeah, we all got something. Mm-hmm.
We do.
We all got something.
We all got something's going on.
Yeah,
we all put on that smile, and you don't know what it is. Cordially meet someone or whatever, and they think, oh, that girl's got it together, and then they turn the corner and then they fall apart. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. And I think children are interesting. Growing up now is very different, because we had the schoolyard bully. We had the mean kids in school, and we could run home usually, or, we could avoid something, or we just had to deal with it at school. And with social media and even texting and Snapchat and all of those sorts of things, is that you are completely unprotected when you get a message. And, and that's why I won't write anything. If I'm upset about something with somebody, I will not write it. I'll say, I need to talk to you, because, I can say, look, what? I thought what you said was really rude, and I was offended. And you could go, oh my gosh, you know what? I was thinking of 1,000 things. I'm so sorry. Or you could say, yeah, well, I'm mad about this. But our interaction, we can fix that, right? We can work it out, and in 3 minutes or whatever, in a certain short amount of time, we can figure out.
Because it's like a fish story. It starts this big and gets like this and this and this, and longer.
Right. But when you see a comment about you that's, you're too fat, or you're stupid, or something horrible like that, you're I could say anything in this moment. It's like,
it's devastating
to say. And
we're all dealing
you're
with
complete, it goes straight to your subconscious. It goes right into your heart, so that a bully can really get you. And that's why there's such serious consequences to that now. And why it's so sort of difficult to parse it out who's responsible, because kids just want to jab back because they're upset at something, and this is the means that they were given to do that, and they want it, and we want it to hurt to somebody when we're little and we're hurting. We want, we're like, well, you want to punch them in the stomach or the arm or whatever, and then walk away and be like, yeah. And so this is the way they do it. But it sticks and it doesn't get out. And so there's a lot of inner trauma, much more so than if a kid got beat up, because that you can work
have
out.
A physical thing that you can deal with. When you have this cyber stuff, you don't know exactly who it is behind that keyboard, and they get all kinds of power and strength when they're behind that keyboard. Get them face to face. different story.
Yeah, right, exactly. And the bullies in the yard have to have a lot more courage to come up to you and do something. Whereas a lot of the what's happened with this other stuff is that with social media is that people who never had the courage can get out their anger and their frustration on somebody, and so that just it just makes the field a lot bigger, with all of that, and so it's yeah. So there can be deeper kinds of wounds that are going on. So yes, I agree. I love working with kids. I mostly work with adults. And when I get that opportunity to work with children, I just love it because they're just so accepting and it's so easy.
So now, what exactly would you do? Say you had a 9-year-old child come to you and say those things. I am getting bullied. I
Mhm,
don't know what to do. I'm afraid to go to school.
mhm,
I don't know who I can trust. All
mhm,
those things. I feel like I'm the one doing something wrong.
mhm.
All that kind of stuff. Where do you start?
Well, first of all, let me just explain what theta healing is. So it's a meditational technique that helps you connect to your subconscious mind and your inner wisdom at the same time. So we're marrying, some people call that inner wisdom God or universe or source or whatever you call it. It's a loving, knowing, all-knowing energy that we have. And when you bring that together with your subconscious mind, we can figure out what are the underlying thoughts, those bottom of the basement thoughts that you have that are affecting your life right now. I'm nothing. I'm worthless, especially when you're a kid, right? Uh, no one ever helps me out, right? I'm all alone. Those kinds of things. I'm unlovable. And with their permission, their you can change that energetically, and they'll get the most loving. It'll be changed to the most loving beliefs, and then we have this storehouse in our subconscious mind of all these emotions, right? Anger, betrayal, um, bitterness, trauma, these kinds of things, and those are the things that stick in those situations. And you're able to, because you go into that theta brainwave, your mind can talk to your body. And so your mind, you have that technology in that moment to say, oh, I want this out of my body. And when you agree and allow, everything is per your permission. I can't do anything without your permission. So you're always in control and empowered by it. Then we can replace those, or we can lift out those old emotions, old toxic ones, and bring in understanding and compassion and love, unconditional love. So when you're taking your thoughts and your feelings and you're from the most negative and toxic ones and into the most empowering ones, you're guiding the direction of your life and making decisions that shape your life from a more empowered and happy place. So there's a great, I remember learning this when I was at UCLA, and I took this one sociology class, and they said the two students of was it human nature are cops and criminals.
Ah,
And to the students, because they look at somebody who walks by and they're like, are you a predator or are you prey?
mm,
Right? Are you and so they can tell, and predators want easy prey.
yeah,
So if you're a 9-year-old kid and you're walking around kind of like this and you're scared and you're all these sorts of things, a bully, with his or her own issues that they want to, pay forward in that moment, it's like, oh, that's easy. He's an easy mark. She's an easy mark. I'm going to go over and get her right now. And so that can happen. But when you start healing these wounds for these kids, then they have different, they have a different posture.
right.
They have a different way about them. They feel more deserving. Those aren't the ones that you peck at, because now you don't want a fair fight. You don't want an even fight if you're a bully. You want an easy fight. And so that's how I would work with someone like that. We'd heal the trauma that they've experienced, then bring in a lot of empowering emotions, like what it feels like to be loved and lovable and worthy, and give them healthy boundaries. Because when you've been beaten up, somebody's been crossing your boundaries, and right. And
Yeah,
so you're like, what's going to happen, right? You're leaning over, you're trying to get it. So they already know. And bullies, their boundaries were, they were also, heavily pummeled in a lot of ways. And victims and victimizers, I always say that victimizers victims become the best victimizers because they know what it feels like to be the other side, and because they're identifying with their aggressor or their abuser and trying to figure out, why the heck did that person do that to me? Oh, now I get it. And it might have been someone they love. So when they start beating up somebody else or doing that, then they're connecting emotionally to their abuser. Like, yeah, oh, now I get it. Okay. And they're in the same club and having that sense of belonging.
Yeah. So you've probably seen it all.
I've seen much.
I bet. I really
yeah.
do. You know, but I do appreciate the fact that you do work with the kids, because I think that's our future, and there's so much pressure on them now, more than ever, and we really need them. We need them seriously more than ever to save us, to save our planet, to save us. They got to be strong, healthy, independent, intelligent beings, and have that confidence to do things and to put themselves out there and to change our world.
And I do believe that they will. I mean, I definitely think that as adults have to kick in our work and help out right now, especially right now, because there's so much change going on and there's so much insecurity and uncertainty and hostility. And and regardless of what side whoever you voted for or any of that thing, and I definitely have clients who have different political viewpoints than I do, but what I found is that, and I talk to them too about, but we all feel the same way, that the world is a bit chaotic and that it's not where we want it to be, and we'd like people to get along better. So that's the wild thing about what's going on here.
Yeah. Bottom lining. The world can work together. We found that out during COVID. The world can work together. They can come together. And then as soon as that crisis is over, it's everybody back to your corners and everybody starts bickering again. So I would imagine that if you didn't keep up with this process, that we would learn through working with you, through the theta brainwaves, that if we stop doing this process, it would be back like that, back in our corners and ready to fight the world.
Well, it's a wonderful thing to see. I think when people love the changes, they keep them. And if there's something that feels, there's sometimes people get, addicted to emotions because they become something that's so common for them. And then when you do this work, I'll give you an example. There's a woman that I work with, and I work with people in class settings, and I also do it on one-on-one. And it's a one-on-one client, and people come to me for like project centered, project oriented, like, oh, I just want to do this one thing with you, and then I'll see you again at some other point. Or somebody's like, hey, I want to use this like therapy and go. And so one of my clients grew up with parents who were emotionally explosive. So she grew up with walking on eggshells and feeling overwhelmed and chaotic, inside. And when she got old enough to have, go out into the world, she found work situations where the bosses were like that, and they gaslighted her and they did all these sorts of things. And when we went back and we healed the traumas that she had so that she could get off those eggshells, and she could have, she was so used to feeling afraid, right? And so used to feeling like, when's the other shoe going to drop, and have that overwhelm, and that's what would happen, right? She was waiting for it. It came. Yeah. And it wasn't that she wanted it. She just thought that's what life was about. And we tend to, with addictive, with emotions and feelings, it's a way we can define life and know that even though we don't like those feelings, well, that's what life's about. And so we did that, and she finally got, and it was getting better and better and lifting things. And she finally got a wonderful job where the people were so happy that she was there. And then the boss was really behind her and very supportive of her and cheering her on. And she's making more money than she's made. She has more support than she's ever had. And even when they've had those places, you work somewhere long enough, you're going to find out what the dysfunction is in any company. You just, we're not perfect. Your first meeting is great. Wow, this is going to be perfect. But when it was unperfect, they had places they could go and they could work it out. And she was able to, I really believe, facilitate miracles of stubbornness and fixed thinking that had the wrong people in places for years, that she was able to come in within months, get those people out and change the environment again for the better. So it's really remarkable when you take care of those things inside of you. First of all, like the creativity that comes to you, but also just your beingness is different. So people relate to you in a different way.
Yeah. And I remember you did that. You did a nice little healing for us last time you were on the show.
Oh, we can do it again too. We can.
Yeah,
do
I
it again.
definitely want you to, because I want people to feel it. I remember the feeling. I remember the feeling in my arms, and like it was it's pretty amazing. And it is the fact that you are allowing, we are, us as the receivers are allowing you to enter and to do these things, and we're accepting and all of that, and you do seriously feel it, and that's pretty intense.
Yeah.
And now, do you teach people how to do this?
Well, right now I don't. What I do is help them with lifetime issues that are going on and healing it with theta healing. So there are a lot of certified instructors who teach how to do that. But in the moment, it hasn't been something I've done in a while. But I used to teach that all the time. So now it seems like people like one of the things we're going to talk about today is I have a free preview coming up in a week. Yep. And on the 23rd of July. Yeah, there you go.
This guy here, he works with her. And
right. And that's all about healing money issues and healing your relationship with money. And that's a very big relationship that we have. And I would say, aside from your loved ones, that's the next most important relationship that you have. And if it isn't, it's a good time to start to make it that, So I'm not going to
how do they join this? And it's a preview of your future self on July 23rd.
There is a link that I sent to you that we can put, I'm sure, in the chat and have on the website for them to come. It's a free 45-minute theta healing experience, helping you with your relationship with money.
Yep.
And it's
I will have to get that email, and I will put that in the chat after, guys.
Absolutely.
And I will definitely do that. This is something you would really want to do. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's really, really remarkable because it is such a huge relationship, and your relationship with money really reflects your worthiness and your ability to receive, right? And expanding that ability to receive. So the wonderful thing about working on your money issues is they're really just people issues. And I believe, I was just talking to my friend about this today. I believe that healing happens for you, for me, in the place with least resistance. Okay. Right. So if you have money issues and you're ready to get rid of them, and there's really nothing stopping you, like you're really passing over, then something's going to happen for you, and it's going to go boom. Like I had a guy who in my class, I teach these courses for 4 weeks, and we'll talk about your future self work, and he manifested $20,000 worth of work. He's like, I want to, we had an intention. He's like, I want to manifest $20,000. And he got it in work, and he didn't have anything in the way. And then somebody else manifested a beautiful relationship.
Oh, that's nice.
Somebody else, another client, started working on her health and in ways that she had never. She started exercising again. And other people, like another woman, had boundary issues where she was the one, when you have aging parents and there's siblings involved, there's always that sibling who does most of the work, and there's always those siblings who don't do any work, right? If you've got enough of them. And so everybody kind of acts out whatever their thing is. And she was one of the helpers, and she was really angry because the other ones were asking her to do things, and she would just say yes. And then she'd feel resentful inside, and then she'd feel, then she'd be mad at them. And this work also helped her, even going into the money issues. It was like the deserving, right? The worthiness, that her boundaries got better, and she was able to start saying no to them. So that they had to do things, and she didn't care what they thought. And I was like, yes. So
I know there's a lot of sibling issues, to deal with, and with, ancestral too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you know,
Siblings are funny because since they've known you from day one, basically, they look at you sometimes the way they looked at you when you were a child and when they were
exactly.
a child, and they
Yep.
don't want to take you out of that box. And you
Yep.
might be a Nobel Prize laureate, and they're like, yeah, but you're the one who stole my socks, so you're an idiot. I don't care what the world
Exactly.
thinks, right? You're a big
Yes.
faker.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No matter what I do, I'm still the baby of the family. And,
right,
I've been a successful business owner. I've done lots of things. We run the biggest Paracon on the East Coast. We do all these things.
right,
However, I'm still that bratty kid, that
right,
got in
exactly.
trouble all the time.
Right, exactly. So they tend to kind of look at us, and as you grow up, sometimes they expand their view, and you hope that they expand their view, and you hope you expand your view also of them, because and see what their changes are too. The opportunity definitely is on both sides. But that was a really great moment for her because she'd always go, "Okay, fine, I'll do it." Right? And they're like, "Good. This is what she does. So she's the one. She's the helper. We aren't."
Yeah.
So go do it. So that's what I love about having money relationship classes. It because it just helps you in all these different areas.
Oh my God. It's just got a stem everywhere. I mean, I don't know how, especially if you're in a group session. I mean, because you make it so easy for people to communicate with you, because you're just so,
I
you're
like people.
you're like, yeah, you like people and you can tell, and
Uh-huh.
you're everybody's friend. You know what I mean? Like you instantly. This is why you're back here on the Fox.
Right, exactly.
We
Uh-huh.
absolutely adored you,
No, thank
and
you.
doing what you're doing. It's important to have that, you know, playful banter, but
Hmm.
your serious side,
Right,
to make
right.
people feel comfortable and to help them with their issues. And of course, to have everything underneath your belt that, yes, I did help this person, this person, this person. That
Mhm.
doesn't help you, it doesn't hurt
Right.
either, you know. So you're that girl. You're definitely
Well,
that.
thank you.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 siblings. I'm number 3. So
Uh,
my
I
brother
have,
is the 4th and then 2 sisters above.
wow, I have a brother, 2 sisters. They were 1, 2, 3 in a row. 5 years later, whoops.
Oh, so you're the last one. You're the baby. My brother's the baby.
Yeah.
So it's a siblings are I mean, you learn a lot by having siblings because I believe that usually you meet people inside your family that you wouldn't have been friends with
Hmm.
had you been in school because they're so different from you.
Right.
But you have to get along with them. And that's the beauty of that because then you find, oh, well, this person's totally different. My sister's so different from me, but I love her. Like she's really cool and she's got some really cool, I really admire what she's doing with her life. And I like, she's got some cool wisdom here and there. And so you can look at these places that you probably would have been like, I don't need to know that person, but you do. They're in your family. They live with you.
Yeah, you got no
Share
choice.
your room or your
You
bathroom.
can't pick your family.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But I mean, I love my brothers. I worked with my
Yeah.
brother. We did
Mhm.
construction together and painting together and all this stuff. We did them all. My sister, she was the nurse. We always went to her for all our issues. And
Uh-huh.
my other sister, she was just not professional. You
What
know,
does
but
that mean?
no, but no, we admired her.
Uh-huh.
She's like the movie star girl. She
Mhm.
was always gorgeous and just the center of the attention all the time.
Mhm.
Daddy's, little angel, no matter what, and throw us all under the bus with her big
Uh-huh.
smile. And we're like, I didn't do that. And they wouldn't believe her. You know what I mean? So there's like,
Yeah,
the rivalry type thing that goes on, and it's fun. We laugh about it, today.
that's
But
very funny.
yeah, but we just lost our parents, recently. So within 10 months of each other, like my
Mhm.
dad went first, 10 months later, my mom, and then it was kind of, the grieving one, the having to deal with the house, the
Yeah.
stuff,
Mhm.
all that kind of things,
Mhm.
estates. Of course, that brings up all kinds of issues, you know.
Absolutely.
So I think we made it through it. I think
Uh-huh.
we're all good now, you know. So
It's an interesting thing because I'm in that same club, and my mother passed away 10 years ago. My father passed away 2 years ago, And when you're going through, first of all, that process of somebody, kind of their body breaking down and getting to this point where they finally pass away, and then having to deal with the business of breaking down somebody's life, and with all of
Right.
that sort of stuff, and
It's crazy.
unpacking, and right. And so it's very easy to have those sort of sibling moments of reaction, and also because people are sad, even if it was a good thing that they passed, because they were suffering,
Yeah.
whatever the reason is. So I think that I absolutely know what that's like to go through that, and how great it feels when everyone is on the same page too. And even if they're off the same page for a long time, but you can appreciate those moments where we're united in the same way. And so it is a really, it's a wild club. I never thought, I would be in it, because, when I would talk to my parents' friends, oh, they were older. So yeah, of course their parents are gone. And you just don't think of anything. You don't think yours are going to die, because
But
your parents will be the only ones that won't.
exactly. I
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
no one's ever prepared for that. You know what
No, that's,
I
yeah,
mean,
no, they're life changers in many ways. And because we're finally the ones who are the most vulnerable to the next
right.
wave. And it just feels like when you have parents and you have a generation above you, that some way they're shielding you from death, and they aren't. You can ride across the freeway and be out in a
Yeah.
minute. So
We're
um,
not we're not gonna make it, everybody.
right. So we tend to kind of go into these interesting places with that, and then that when that veil is gone, you're like, oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
wild.
it's a big reality hit, and
Yeah.
it's like that is a big problem that I actually have to deal with. It's like I lost my husband in 2011, and I
Mm.
had to dissolve businesses, and then I tried to keep up the house, and I tried all that stuff in Massachusetts, and it's expensive to live
Yeah.
in Massachusetts, and it damn near killed me. It broke my body down so badly.
Uh,
Life here in Pennsylvania is definitely a lot easier, a lot
mhm.
gentler on the body, um, you know, all that kind of stuff. Um, and mentally, because I was like a rat on a wheel up there. And,
Right, right. Uh-huh.
but I didn't give myself any time to grieve because I didn't have any time to grieve,
Right.
you know?
And then, yeah, and the women, it's mostly women that I work with, and they're people, and also men though, that are in that sandwich generation, right? And you're taking care of your aging parents, you're taking care of kids, you have your own career, and you're trying to juggle all of these things. So like you're saying, there's this, I don't have any time for me. I can take 5 minutes, but then I've got to help somebody else because they're going to do that. And we tend to prioritize other people's needs above our own, which then brings in fatigue and burnout and illness and these sorts of things. And you have to come back to this place, and you can turn your health around really quickly when you start doing that. I had one client who found out she was one of those people. She gave and she gave and she gave, and then wasn't enjoying her life and was feeling lonely and isolated and all these sorts of things, and then found out that she had a rare form of cancer. And so then she started doing different things and started meditating and started doing more things for her health and changing this and being more social and bringing all of these things in that we were working on. And she this was a really wild thing that happened with her. She had taken a test to see if this cancer could metastasize, and it was, and from 1 to 10, meaning 10 meaning the most likely that would happen, and she got an 18 on it. And then they said, we're going to wait 2 more weeks. So now we have some information. We're going to wait 2 more weeks, and then we're going to go. We'll take the test again to give us the strategy of how we're going to address this likelihood. And so in those 2 weeks, she worked with me and she did meditation. And that was it. She didn't do anything else. And when she went back and took the test again, it went down to 0.8.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And they don't put her in that category of in that danger category at all anymore. She still gets checked out, but she's considered a very low risk, if not no risk. So, or close to no risk, excuse me. She still gets checked out. So they want to make sure, but things like that can happen when your body chemistry can change, and theta is very deep meditation. Pardon?
I definitely know that.
Yeah. So, and when your body, when you get out of fight or flight, and so many of us are in fight or flight just by virtue of this fast life we're living, even if it's not the most exciting. You got to get the groceries, you got to make sure the kids are home, you got to make sure everybody got fed. What's that schedule? Blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not living life on the edge and jumping out of airplanes,
No, but it feels like it.
Right, exactly. But it's this other kind of stuff. And there was a time in history where, we would have, high stress, but then we'd have low stress. And then we'd stay in low stress for a long time. And then something would happen high, and then we would come back down. And now we tend to be, as you can tell by our breath, our shallow breathing and our mouth breathing, that we're in that fight or flight actually almost all the time.
Yeah. I mean, depending on it's so many issues. A typical day in the life of a single mom, is insane. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Get your kid to school, get yourself to work. You need to have some kind of daycare for the 2 more hours that you have to work before you can get back home. And how's that child going to get home? What happens, heaven forbid, if that kid has to leave school early? Just those types of things alone.
Absolutely.
Not to mention health issues, trying to feed the child, trying to clothe the child that grows out of clothes every 2 minutes, keeping up with doctor's appointments and everything else, and vaccines and whatnot. It's almost an impossibility for, a single mom or a single dad. Dad's
a single parent. Yes, exactly. When you're the only ones that are doing the job, then it's a lot. Yeah.
It's and then where is the time for you to take care of you and all that?
Yes, absolutely. And I definitely felt that myself. And when you can help people who are in that situation start to prioritize themselves, then that's when those shifts start happening even more. And just bringing somebody to that place of, you deserve it, without saying but. I always say, we'll but ourselves to death, I got this great job, but now I got to drive 20 more minutes than I did before. No, it's horrible. Right. And so we'll take all the good away with our buts. And so to learn to relanguage ourselves. And we can do that when we start focusing on what's going well and stop focusing on what's going wrong, but know that there's something that needs to be done for that there's a challenge that needs to be addressed. We just don't wallow in it.
That's a good thing right there too. Wallow, because a lot of people will do that, and it's just like that. I swear to God, some people live for those moments. They want something that are drama crazed. I don't know, but it's once they get over one drama moment, it's like they're waiting for the next one. So
right.
It's why would you want to? I don't understand this. I really don't. I don't
really
that mentality that, oh, woe is me and the black cloud all the time and everything. And it's why would you want this? You can get rid of it.
Well, it's, being addicted to emotions is to me is interesting. I think we all have an emotion that we go back to that's not so great in a lot of times, a lot of spaces. And when you go back to drama or you go back to overwhelm, I do believe it's a replay of when we're little, when we're toddlers, and we sit down and we start crying, and then we go like this to our parents, and then our parents pick us up, and then they hold us, and then everything's okay. And I believe that we go into those emotions to elicit that really all we're doing is looking for love. And one of the things that we're looking for, an unconditional kind of love in that moment. And I really believe that when you're feeling overwhelmed like that, and you go into that, or you go into being victimized, right? And you go, terrific. And then my tire went out, right? Right. And of course, then you can go, well, I'll give you a funny example of it because it happened today. fresh off the presses, and it happened to me. So I was going down to, I went down to, my daughter's a dancer, and I was going downtown to go see her, and I was going by myself, and I can be afraid of, my sense of direction down there is a little, there's one-way streets here and this and that. And so I'm like, and so anyways, and I have to, and it's this LA Convention Center, which is like 2 huge city blocks of these big convention centers. So it's, I park in this one spot, but I don't know where I'm supposed to go after that. And I have to remember, and I always like right inside my phone, I'm like, where did I park? It was red 10N. And this is where, and I'll literally walk out of a place and go, okay, if I'm coming back, I'm going to be turning left into this area. Like I'll do that because I get wrapped up in a fear around it. So I want to help myself. And I've been working on this and walking through those fears. So anyways, I find it, and, it's way down here, and it's all this sort of stuff. But as I'm going down there and I figure it out, and I get some good help from people, and because I always believe I'll get good help, but it was like one guy, like who's, like there's nobody in the parking lot. There's one guy over there. I'm like, oh, it's like, oh, that's down over there. I'm like, really? I thought it'd be over here. No, let's go down there. Just get da. And I'm like, okay. So I go there and once again, just map out the entire way of going into this new convention center, go up the stairs, go out of this hallway, go see my daughter. And I'm practicing in my head also, like, how am I going to reverse this? I know the reverse way of going, and I'm so proud of myself. I'm like, yeah, I got it right. And then I'm leaving when I, come and I see it. It's wonderful. I give my daughter a hug. I've got to go. She doesn't want to come with me. So that's fine. She's going with her friend. And I walk out, and as I'm walking outside, I'm looking in my purse and I can't find my keys. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm halfway between this place and my car in the spot that now I'm so proud of myself that I'd memorized the way to get there. I go halfway, I sit down, and instead of going into a space of like, oh my God, like that, like, okay, what am I going to do? And I shifted in that moment around, okay, so if this is okay, there's a lot of good things that just happened today. I got down here, I did something that was new for me to do by myself, and that's cool. And little milestone. What do I do now? And so then I thought, okay, well, I'm halfway. I'll go back and I'll look. So I go back, we can't find it. I come back out and I'm thinking, I bet you it's in my car then. And I left it because it's one of those fob keys. So I left it in the front. I'm like, I have a feeling, and I can sense like seeing it in my head because I don't remember putting it in my thing, and I don't remember putting it in my purse. And so that's always a key. Like, do you remember that? Or did you put it in your pocket? I have no memory of that at all. And when you have mommy brain, you're thinking, well, that's not any different than just mommy brain. So, and then I kept seeing it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the car. And then if it's not there, then I'll figure out, like, I just started figuring out and calming down instead of, I used to like shoot up into like a 15 out of 10. And I would be terrified in that moment and be like, oh, right. And I was not, I was calm, and I went, okay. And I was a little heightened. I definitely was a little heightened, but I just went, okay, I'm going to go there. We're going to find the car. We're going to see, because then I'll know what needs to happen next. If I need to take Uber home, whatever it is, there's a solution. And so it got me out of that space of being fearful. And I think, though, just even still having that fear while I was driving over and doing all of these things, even though I was working through my fear, I think that kind of had a little play inside of my forgetting that the keys were there, that there was still something to be afraid of. There was still something to stress out about. And I created it, right? I created it because I had fear. It was like fear begets fear. And it was a minor fear. It was a minor thing. I feel very grateful that no one was looking around at cars and found mine, because they would have been able to leave quite easily with my car. And
that is, this is the first car I've had with the key fob thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's always in my pocketbook. But then I even put on the feature to not be able to lock the car if the fob is in the car.
Right.
I always lock the car,
Right.
So if the thing went up, it's like, oh shit, I didn't have my keys. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Right. And I think I was so I was so overwhelmed in that moment in fear of like, oh, I got it, I made it, but now I've got to do this next thing. Just map my way to this place that there's no directions to. Okay.
This is where I'm good at directions. The only thing on the planet that I'm good at directions is finding my car. Like if I can go to the biggest mall in the world, which I have, park the car, level 7, all this stuff, way in the back up here, and I will remember that. I'll remember where I walked into the mall, where what store it was, and all that. Okay, except for one time. One time I was just, there was like a split thing, and I was up here, and I was just right below.
The splits, they're the worst, man. Those split things, like and you're kind of on level 2, and you're kind of on level 3, and you don't know which one you're on. Yeah.
So it's like, click the thing, like it's down there. Right. Bags full bags in the hands, all that. Wandering around the parking lot, like, oh my God, someone stole my car. Why would they want a Kia?
Really good. They're much better cars now, actually. I see them everywhere.
I'm like, out of all the cars that are in here, and I've seen some pretty nice cars on the way. I'm like, why would they steal a Kia? You know what I mean? But now I get a Cadillac, so yeah, okay, I don't worry about that one. And I do. But it's always, my keys are in my pocketbook. I'm just like, I'm so anal about everything with it now. I'm
right, yeah.
But I'm very good with the directions in the parking lots and things like that. However, to get there, different story. Put me in the woods, I will be so lost. I can walk 10 feet into the woods, pick up going one direction, turn around to come back out, and I could be in Ethiopia. I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't know what happens.
Bring a very long string with you and tie it around at the beginning. Just turn around, unravel yourself the whole way out. You'll be a little dizzy, but you'll be able to find your way back.
That's exactly it. Hey, Joan, long time no see. How are you, girl? So we have a very interesting guest tonight, Joan. She does theta healing, which is amazing stuff. For all kinds of life situations and all the issues that we can deal with that within ourselves. She can help to change it out of us with our permission. She uses her brainwaves to come into us and takes all this stuff out of us. And she did this because she's a return on our show. And she did this healing thing for us before. And I loved it. I loved the feeling of it. I felt so great afterwards. It is very life-changing. As long as you accept it into your life, it's very life-changing.
Maybe we should do one right now. What do you think of that?
I would like that. Yeah, and I do think the self-love one would be
self-love. Okay.
Really
talk about self-love. Okay, sure.
Really helpful. Yeah.
All righty. So the way this works is that I go into a meditation, my own process, where I close my eyes. I guess my eyes are kind of far away because my camera's a little far away. I have this feeling of like, maybe I should move it closer, but then it's going to look funny. So I'm going to still keep it where it's not. So yeah, I'll get closer. How's it? Here, I'm going to do it just because I said it'll be funny. I'm fine.
Don't be scary.
There it goes. There, like I'm a little taller. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a process that gets my brain into theta waves and connects me to source, to inner wisdom also. And so I'm going to ask you if I can come into your space. When you say yes, and Gina, you'll be the proxy for everybody else. Everybody else, you can say it out loud. You can say it in your head. And I will ask you if you'd like an energetic download of a feeling, like what it feels like to trust your gut or trust yourself. What it feels like to live without fear, like different kinds of things, of feelings, what it feels like to be completely loved,
Right.
and honor yourself. And maybe these are feelings that we've never really had. We've thought, oh no, I don't think I ever really felt loved. Okay, well, you're going to feel it today. And so we'll go through that. And because those feelings will change you, and they'll change the way you are in the world and change the way you feel about yourself. And that relationship with yourself is the most important. Because everything is based off this. And when you don't like who you are, you're going to bring people in your life who feel the same way about themselves and project it on you. And they're going to mistreat you in some ways. Exactly. And in other ways, when you don't like it and you're trying to earn your existence, you're going to overwork and overgive to other people and deplete yourself and burn out. And we usually do sort of combinations, obviously, because we're complex human beings. But so we're going to do that. And then I'll also say, well, would you like to let go of resentment that you have towards this person or that person or towards yourself. So that stuff can come out, and then you can bring in that's unconditional love and understanding and compassion. And so,
and then you have to replace with something positive.
Right. And then you'll get your inner wisdom's perspective on whatever, which just means the most loving, the most divine and loving perspective on whatever happened to you, whatever's going on or on a person or a situation. Okay. So here we go. And do you want to tell me, is there a certain amount of time that I have to do this? Should I just go on for a while and then I'll open one eye and see what you want to do?
I mean, if you want to do like a 10-minute thing or
sure.
around there, you know what I mean? I think that'd be really good.
Perfect. Okay. So can I come into your space? Just say yes.
Yes.
Okay. And a lot of times I'll keep my eyes closed, because when you go into the theta state naturally, that's going into your dream state, which means your eyes roll back in your head. And so you can feel a little bit relaxed, and you don't have to feel anything with this work in order for it to happen, because I've asked for some sort of feeling. So I'll say, "Ooh, I feel it here," or "I feel it here." You don't have to feel it where I'm feeling it at all. It's just, it gives me a signal that something's happening. Okay. And like I say, you are in complete control of this, so that if you decide there's something you don't want and you say no, I have it. It won't come to you. I cannot do anything to you. This is all your co-creation. It's all your participation. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start with what's called a basic theta healing, which is all about what I was saying, being loved and appreciated and things like that. So, and is there a word that you like? Do you like inner wisdom? Is that a good word okay, inner wisdom's good. Okay, so we'll keep that one. So would you like your inner wisdom's perspective on unconditional love?
Yes.
And would you like to know what it feels like from your, what unconditional love feels like from your inner wisdom's perspective?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to know you're deserving of receiving this unconditional love?
Absolutely, yes.
And would you like to know how to and what it feels like to receive it?
Yes.
All right. This is a biggie. Would you like to know what your inner wisdom's joy feels like?
Yes.
And would you like to know that you're deserving of receiving this joy?
Yes.
And how to and what it feels like to receive it?
Yes.
Okay. Know also that this energy and information will come to you in your own divine timing. So it will just wait for you. Okay. So if you're like, "Oh, it's all too fast," no, that's okay. It'll just wait for you and do it at your pace, just so you know. Would you like to know what your inner wisdom support feels like?
Yes.
Cool. Beautiful. And would you like to know you're deserving of receiving this support?
Yes.
Would you like to know how to and what it feels like to receive it?
Yes.
And how to and what it feels like to recognize it?
Yes.
We tend to, and that's where the yeah buts come in, right? You're like, nothing good's happening. Well, I did get that parking spot, but then I had to walk really far. So, and let's show you right now what it feels like to really recognize the universe's support. So that's anything like getting a parking spot, having a nice conversation with a new person in your life, getting a free gift, whatever it is, I get a lot of, when I take walks in my neighborhood, a dog will stop in her tracks and look at me. I'm like, "Oh, hi." So, and I get that with babies too. So those are the beings that notice energy the most, the quickest.
Okay.
So all of those, and show you what it feels like to celebrate those successes, those moments of support. Okay, there you go. Would you like to know what it feels like to be a completely healthy 28-year-old person?
Oh, God, yes.
Yay. Good. All righty. And would you like to know, what is this? Okay. Would you like to know that it's safe to be in your body and in the world?
Yes.
There we go. Thank you. There we go. Woo! I can feel that. I feel that a lot on the heart. Can you feel this, Gina?
My arms are buzzing. My ears are ringing.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. All righty. And would you like to know what it feels like to unconditionally love yourself from the inside out, from your inner wisdom's perspective?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to know what it feels like to unconditionally accept yourself from your inner wisdom's perspective?
Yes.
And know that it's possible and safe to do so now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Woo, I can feel that. Solar plexus too, and the heart are where I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Base.
I get a good deep breath.
Yeah, see? Helps you take a deep breath. It's true. Okay. Would you like to know what it feels like to live happy and to be
Yes.
happy? There we go. Without it being fleeting,
Yes.
right? That it's possible to have happiness as a sustaining feeling.
Yes.
And that it's also possible to be happy for no reason.
Yes.
And really bring that in so that your brain can understand that, because sometimes you can be like, well, I really feel good, but there's nothing new in my life that I didn't win the lottery, or I didn't get a new car, or and you're like, so why am I like this? And so that's just showing your brain, showing your body here, that in your subconscious mind, that it's okay, because being happy is one of the best parts of life, even if situations haven't quite changed yet the way you'd like them to. All the changes start on the inside and then they go to the outside. So gathering up all that happy is a good thing. There we go. Show you what it feels like to have adventure in your life, positive adventure.
Yes.
Show you what it feels like to have a good sense of direction.
Yes.
Mostly for you and you and I right now.
Yeah.
There you go. Or is it you and me? I'm not sure on that one.
Both.
It's
Both
both.
work.
Okay. Both you and me and you and I. Okay. Both of us is. There we go. And just show you what it feels like to trust yourself too. This is a big one.
Yes.
And that it's possible to trust yourself and use your inner wisdom's discernment. Okay.
Yes.
To get there. So that's just sussing out what's really going on, right? And show you what it feels like to have faith in yourself, that it's possible to have faith in yourself.
Yes.
So here's something that's interesting that's going on in this moment is it's about being let down. So there's a lot of times where as a child, we are let down by our parents. When our parents make promises, or a big kid makes promises to us and they don't follow through, it hits us. And because we believe those promises are binding, even if it's an honest reason, like I can't do it because it ends up I have to go to work right now, but you promised to go to my game and you didn't go, right? And so you feel really let down, but mom has to go because this thing has to happen. And so let's heal all that disappointment and letdown that caused you to lose faith in life and lose faith in yourself and lose faith in others.
Okay.
Healing letdown and disappointment. And also the times that you broke promises to yourself, and showing you what it feels like to forgive yourself for that. And forgiveness, what I learned through Theta healing is that forgiveness is letting go of the pain that you caused someone or that someone has caused you.
Yes.
So when you forgive yourself for those times when you have the trait, or you're used to helping everyone before yourself and putting all of the wonderful things for you on the back burner, then you start losing faith in yourself because you keep breaking promises to yourself. So let's show you what it feels like from your inner wisdom's perspective to keep promises to yourself and forgive yourself for breaking promises to yourself. Here we go. Woo. And there's sadness in here and grief in here too. And loneliness.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Big time loneliness. And there's obviously times in our life when we're parenting or taking care of someone that our needs aren't necessarily at the top of the list.
Yeah.
So Source is just letting you understand that you can let yourself off the hook and teach you what you're meant to learn from that.
Awesome.
There we go. Beautiful. Okay. And let's see what else is coming right here. It's healing trauma from promises being broken, from others breaking promises to you.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And that might even mean a marriage breaking up, right? Because you thought if your parents are married, they stay married forever. What do you mean you get a divorce? What?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm feeling like there's divorce energy coming up to be healed. Beautiful. Woo. Beautiful. And then just the burden of what is this? The burden of so much responsibility in your life. And
Yes.
healing this feeling of being responsible for everyone and everything. There's something called a vow, which are like 24/7 promises that never turn off.
Yep.
And so we want to be able to turn off those when you go to sleep and clock out and clock back in the morning if you'd like to be.
Oh,
Give you
God,
that
yes.
freedom,
Please.
right? Yeah. Give you that freedom of choice. So let's complete and finish all the vows to be responsible for everyone and everything. Beautiful. Yay. Good job. And just lift that burden of being responsible for everyone and everything. That's the big thing right there.
Yep.
Beautiful. And we're just sending that, and with it being in the theta brainwave, your mind can talk to your body. And then we're with the intention sending that out to the universe now to be out of yourself. And also what it feels like to be worthy of your inner wisdom's compassion. Showing you what that feels like.
Yeah.
And how to, and you're worthy of receiving it, and how to, what it feels like to receive it.
Yes.
There you go. Nice. There we go. There's a stunt cat on the side. And let you know what it feels like just to be content from your inner wisdom's perspective.
Absolutely.
And what it feels like to have healthy boundaries. There we go. Thank you. That was what I needed to bring in there.
Yes.
From your inner wisdom's perspective, and to live, what it feels like to live with them. Let you know that it's safe to live with those boundaries.
Yes.
There we go. There we go. And then showing you what it feels like to have hope, and that it's possible for you to change this world for the better.
Yes.
And complete and finish all the vows to relinquish your power to others, authority figures, governments, parents, teachers, anyone who you believe has more power than you do. Complete and finish all of those vows.
Yes.
Show you what it feels like to stand in your power.
Yes.
And make changes where you believe you can make changes. How's that?
Perfect.
In a place that is near and dear to your heart.
Yep.
There we go. So that you can move things in that direction. Beautiful. And show you what it feels like to have hope and optimism and live with that and have that guide you.
Yes.
There we go. Wonderful. All right. And then we end these little healing sessions with a body healing. So would you like that?
Yes, please.
All right. So here we go. Just watching that energy whoosh through your body. How that whoosh through your body. Restore your cells to your cells to a completely healthy 28-year-old person. There we go. And let you know who you are from your inner wisdom's perspective with all of these changes that will continue to evolve. There we go. Yay. And then bring you back into your body. So it's just almost like you feel like you went out into outer space here. We're coming back into your body. Feel your consciousness go all the way through the top of your head, all the way through your body, your shoulders, down through your torso, all the way down your legs, down the bottoms of your feet, and dive deep as if you're going in the deepest pool, 25, 35 feet down. And then take that Mother Earth energy back up the bottoms of your feet. So it starts to fill every cell of your body and going up your shins and your thighs, back up your torso and your hands and your arms and your shoulders and your throat and your head. So that you're all the way back into your body. And then you can open your eyes when you...
Hi.
Hello. You've been here.
Oh, I feel great.
Yeah. What was that experience like for you then?
I love this. I love this. I love meditating. I like getting into this state. I love what you do. I'm still dizzy.
Well, let's make sure you're grounded then. That's a good...
Yeah.
Let's bring that grounding energy, really get that grounding energy in there.
Yeah.
It's definitely good to stay away from operating heavy machinery when you...
Well, I don't think I'm going to be going out
right after this.
It's later for me than it is for you, but
Right. That's true. You're right. It is. It's a little bit later. I see that.
Right. Oh, I do feel really good though. You could feel it in different parts of the body. I could feel it. You were feeling it in your torso a lot sooner than I was. Once I finally got there, it stayed there, like through the rest of it. And I feel like I'm breathing easier. And I have COPD and emphysema, and this is why I lose my voice and everything.
Okay.
And I do feel like I'm breathing easier. It's like I got that one breath that was like, oh, okay. And I think it might have been an anxiety thing, you know? So releasing whichever one of those that, you just missed, David's back. You just missed our little healing. So you're going to have to rewatch and go and do what she just had done with us, because it's pretty cool. It's like a taste of what it is that she can actually do. And you can do this for so many different reasons, pinpoint areas, all to make our lives better, more functioning for ourselves. But I'll tell you, I need a sip of water.
Yeah, water is good. I'll have some too, actually. We are
Right.
talking in the summer and it's very dry out. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's hot and yucky.
yeah.
But, oh, I just, my neck got, like, I feel like my neck got taller.
All right. That's
And
great.
yeah. When you said you're coming back into your body, it's like, yeah, because I kind of felt like I was out. My head was lighter. It was like straighter. And then when I'm coming back in, I could feel it kind of slunking again, and it going down through. But now once it came back up through again, I feel like I'm straighter.
Right. And what's going to happen now is that in the next 4 to 7 days, this will all process through your subconscious mind. So since it's the dream state wave, right, that when, as you're sleeping, you're going to feel that cycle through and in that time over the next 4 to 7 days. And so lots of things can happen. You start feeling easier and lighter. And that's the one that you go, oh, okay, let's, when you start focusing on that, those are the things that are going to show up for you. And sometimes you get old emotions that your body's like, oh my gosh, take this, the anger, take it out. And so you might get, which I affectionately call energetic PMS. You're like, and there's no reason. You're just like, right? And so, and if that happens, all you can do, actually, what you can do is, and if this is the reason for it, so let me say it that way. If this is your body's reaction is going, ooh, just take more stuff. Like, I just want to release this too. And I just want to release it. Imagine that that you have like a lid on the top of your head and that you open it up and you snap your fingers and say goodbye. And the energy will just whoosh out of your body. If that's the reason. If it's some other reason that has nothing to do with us, then I cannot attest to why that is. Right.
But you can also ask, like, to show you what it is that's blocking you, can't you? Like,
yes, yeah. I mean, and that's one of my one of the things I can do. I've been doing this work over 20 years now, I think like 23 years now. So it's fairly easy for me because I do it all the time to figure out what are the root causes of what's going on with somebody, whether it's an issue around money or around your job or a relationship, or is it a physical issue? And so we can find out what the emotional roots of that are, so that you can release it from that space.
Right. And that's for any of these issues: relationship, money, addictions. So, and addictions too, people kind of have that word. If you say I'm an addict, okay?
Yeah.
People think automatically drugs, alcohol. It's like, no, it could be ice cream. It could be anything that makes you feel good. I mean, it's like, if you have an addictive personality, you just love everything. You know what I mean? Too much. So, there's a thing. So you help people with addictions.
Yeah. I think if somebody has what you're saying, like an addictive personality, then they're most likely managing overwhelm, and this is the way they're doing it through food, through buying things, through, if it could be alcohol or whatever it is, because they want a distraction from, or a coping mechanism to handle the overwhelm. That's my belief.
Exactly. So Christopher here says, burnout is so real and prevalent in his profession. I believe we give a piece of ourselves to every family we serve. On an average, a new licensee lasts only 5 years. And I certainly want to reach out to find out more about countering that. And this is so amazing. Thank you for sharing. I also want to find out what is blocking him from taking the next step in his professional journey. I believe she can help you with that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's for me. That's easy. I love, that's what I live for. Doing that.
So you can make an appointment with her here at theta.com. And for the audio only, it's think, the word think, THINK, theta, THETA.com. Okay, you can go there. And I'm over here. Okay, now this is an older picture. She's changed the name of these. Okay, Making Life Happen to, what did you change it to? Making Life in Business?
Business Life Happen.
Business Life Happen.
Because when you're, since I work with so many entrepreneurs and professionals, life happens while business happens. And so whenever you're dealing with grief, or you're dealing with procrastination, or you're dealing with all these sorts of things that are going on, or sales are good or sales are bad, or I don't have any patience anymore, whatever it is, somebody dies, I don't know, things go on in the family, or there's bad blood in the family. These are all the things that happen while you are in business. And so the more you resolve those things, the better off your business will be. I remember that I have this one mentor who said that your business is one of the greatest vehicles for self-development that we have, because you're much more willing, right, to look at an issue. If you can't, like my friend, she had too much emotional baggage, so she was scaring away all her clients. And so she needed to fix that, because she wasn't making money, not because, I want to find this deep thing. You're like, no, I better figure that out.
I know.
So that's why it's big, right. That's what
right.
It's a very powerful vehicle for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is true what you were saying. I mean, I'm just going to reiterate on this. It's like the same issues and the same blockages will block you in your love life, in your personal life, in your working life, in your relationships with your children, your relationships with your, friends. It will be the same issue. It will be that same blockage, that same fear, that same whatever it is, So once you get rid of that one thing, my God, the whole world is going to open up.
Right. And the healthy boundaries and those sorts. One story about a guy who had a boss who was really like a dictator, and just really controlling and put him down and all these sorts of things. And as we started doing this work, he was gaining all his deserving back, and he started standing up to this guy. And the other guy, he backed down, and he really respects him. And he talks about how much, he cares about him, and then he respects him, and they have a really great working relationship. But before it was, this guy was the head honcho and everybody else was, beneath him. And so there's these places where you can do this work and create sort of minor miracles, major miracles, because of your beingness, because you've changed so significantly on the inside, and maybe only on one issue, but it's enough to change this really cool thing to make your working environment really wonderful and supportive, coming from a place when it wasn't, and so these are the kinds of things, all sorts of things, speaking up for yourself,
going
your health,
people
right? All these
to, reverse of that, and not getting respect.
Mm-hmm. And so those are all really important things to be able to, you're just, while you're a working person, all your life is going to happen during that. And if you want that to be clear, then work on those issues that are troubling you, so that you can do that. And they're all meditations that are not very long, that you can do whenever you want to do. You can look at all the different issues and pick one that you're going through and just do that, and it's all cumulative, right? Yeah.
A different day,
Right. And so and it's cumulative. All the work that you do is cumulative. So you can do the same one over and over again, but it's like reading the same book over and over again. When you're at different points in your life, or different things change, you see different things into it. You read different things into it. And so each time it'll start feeling better.
Yep. It's like, you look at one thing, but today you'll feel this way. 5 years from now,
right,
you'll look back at today and say, wow, I don't see that anymore. I see this, and
right.
Or you hopefully evolved, hopefully that you have changed, and you grow from this point to the next point to the next point, and you keep growing, and that you don't go backwards, because that's what the world needs, really.
Yes.
There's a lot of this getting people, smashing people down,
right,
and only to build themselves up. And those people are lacking. What they see, what they fear in you is what they're lacking in themselves.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
You gotta have a perspective of what's actually happening in the world, and be able to, put yourself out there, to help others, to help yourself. You gotta help yourself before you can help others. So I'm always open to like this kind of stuff. If I can better myself in any way, shape, or form, I'm always going to keep learning. I'm always going to keep doing and striving and putting forward so I can help other people do the
Right.
same thing.
Right. Right. And it's absolutely. And that's why I think it's interesting. Like one of the newer things that I'm talking about within my work is bringing in the energy of your future self into your life now. And this is it's a concept that I've been hearing from other abundance teachers and prosperity teachers and business teachers for a long time. And it just started resonating like, oh, what if we just really separated it, as it were, or just brought it out to, not separated it, let me put it to you, brought it out to the front and let it sit in the front row for a second. And I started studying, like, how do you do this? And there's easy ways to do it, which is you could take a future self walk and you can say, okay, I'm going to imagine myself, I'm just going to take a walk of that all my needs are met. I'm going to take 5 minutes and walk around like all my needs are met. I have enough money, I have enough social life, enough health, all of these things they're completed. And then you go, and if you do that and play with that, you'll notice, oh, I'm walking differently. I'm standing up differently. My head is further back. It's not down here. All these different things. And you can bring it into your work and essentially use your imagination to be there and connect to that energy, because Albert Einstein talks about that you can't solve a problem from the consciousness that created it, right? If we're in it, we can't sit at the bottom of the well and go, oh my God, this is horrible. What's going to happen next, right? We're just going to feel the walls around us and we're not going to get anywhere. And so what bringing your future self into your life does, and using your imagination to get these new feelings, is that it actually activates your, I think it's your prefrontal cortex, where your decision making is. And it strengthens the decisions and gives you more confidence to make decisions that are in support of yourself, which is wonderful. And
it's awesome.
And so what I found is if you go into meditations and go into that deep space of theta. So, when you use your imagination in real life, you're in the beta brainwave. So when we're speaking, we're in, right, alert. Right. We're alert and we're active. And when you go into theta and you're reaching into the subconscious and you're bringing those feelings down there into the deepest part inside of you, you're really bringing it everywhere. And I have to say, I have seen, some of what I was talking about earlier, where people who've taken, I do these classes where I teach 4 Wednesdays in a month for 1 hour. And we do all this work in theta on your future self and bringing your future self energy in, and use also the theta to heal your past too. And so that you bring these two things together and you get this new powerful combination. And, like I was saying, one of my students manifested $20,000. Another student started public speaking after she was totally shy. Another one now has a beautiful new relationship that's going really well. Another one can say no to her, her siblings.
It's a tough one.
For me, and this helped for me when I was really diving into this work and finding it so fascinating and beneficial, that, when politics were coming up in the elections and I was getting really anxious, and so it was helping me calm down. And then when the LA fires hit in January, we were at a point where we almost evacuated twice in 3 days. One time the fire was a half a mile away from us, a different fire, but because that's what was going on, right? Fires were just popping up in places. They were arson fires. And then one was because it was coming over the mountain and it could come this way. And so 2 times it was like, oh my gosh, like I've never had that happen before. And I had, the first time it happened, I panicked for a minute, but then I went, okay, wait a second. And I was able to come back and go, okay, what do I need to do? We don't need to leave in this minute. So since I don't need to leave in this minute, and I got all my papers together, and I've been wanting to do it for like 4 or 5 years. And there was literally, if you think about it, there was a fire, like, right nearby. So it's a good time to, get something lit under your butt to move. And so I got everything ready. I got it all in one spot. Right. And so that I could take all the most important papers that I had, take them with me, look around and see, what do I want to bring? What's the most important things that I won't be able to replace? And then I thought to myself, and then I'm like, oh my God. And even by the second time that we did this, and both times we ended up not going, but we didn't know that before. And it was like, oh my gosh, I could leave and this might not be here.
Right.
Like our house might not be here. This is crazy. And so in that moment that I had that, I got another flash, and it went, and this is from, I know, doing all this work, because I got, well, what would happen if it was the opposite and your house was saved, but everybody in your family died? Like, would you be like, right? Would you be like, oh, thank God I got all my things. Look, I got everything I've ever, look, my TV's here. You'd be like, no, the worst thing happened. The thing that can't be replaced. And so I went, oh, I got my family. I'm fine. Whatever happens, it would be sad. But in this moment, I'm going to be okay. In this moment, because I have the most precious things with me. Yeah. And that really helped me.
Yeah.
Just getting there. But that thought, when it came in, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. It's like you get it. Seriously, all the perspective. I think about all this stuff. I have so much crap in this house. And then, after my parents dying, I'm like, I really should clear all this crap out, basically, I try to give away a lot of my books now, I've got art books. I've got all my books that I've done for my show and all this kind of stuff, and then I might take a pile of books. We're doing an event next weekend. I might take some of my books to, just give out there if they're interested, pass it along, whatever. But I'm like, oh my God, I have so much stuff here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you think, if there was a fire or if there was something that destroyed the house, I wouldn't even know where to begin with all this.
Right, exactly.
If I had my dog passed, but that would be the first thing I would grab. And that's right. If I had my dog and Bob, that's all I need. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's it. We can rebuild everything else. It's not like, I haven't done that in the past. I walked away from big losses for sanity's sake.
Right. Right. And so, and that's what I mean. And that's what it did for me. And that's why I became a real believer in this work and incorporating that into the theta work that I'm doing. And, but what is this? That is so powerful, embracing the future mindset and actually living that mindset for small moments in time. It's It is. It's been around a while. I cannot say that I made it up. As much as I would like to tell you that I am the creator of all of this, I am not. All things.
We're in her presence.
Yeah, exactly. You're lucky. You can kiss my ring. Here it is. And so,
is that an Illuminati ring?
Right. It's such a great thing. And what happens is we're so used to, what we emanate is what, what the universe, brings back to us, right? The universe is reflecting how we're feeling, that what we're putting out there. So when you can do that, even on your own, in that way of just taking a future self walk and becoming that confident, healthy person, and you're funny and you're a master this and master that or whatever, and you bring that, it raises your vibration. And the more you practice raising your vibration, then those addictions you have to those other negative emotions are going to start waning. Or when you feel them, you'll go, oh, it's just bringing my vibration down. And I'm so used to being at like a 3.5 and not an 8 or a 9 or a 10 that when I get up to there, I get a belief that says, no, you better come back down, because if you don't, someone's going to disappoint you or the other shoe's going to drop and you're like, and you come back down. But when you bring it up with this future self work every day, and you do it, even if you did it for 3 minutes a day, you're going to start getting used to feeling that. And then if you bring it in the office with you, that confidence, it's so cool. It's so cool. And it changes.
And you're doing a free giveaway, free session next Wednesday.
Yes. So next Wednesday on July 23rd at 12 p.m. Pacific, I'm inviting everyone here, come on over. And I'm doing a free 45 group theta healing that includes your future self work. And it's a free preview of a 4-week class, which is a once-a-week class, but everyone can come just to dip your toe in the water and come
I'll put the link in the chat after the show.
Oh, the link is down there. Okay, so the link will be down there. And basically what you can do is get a taste of what it's like to do really deep future self work and see how it helps you in your world, because it's the more you do it, once again, that's another one of those things where it's cumulative. The more you do it, the better things get. That's my business manager.
Yes. Such a lovely manager.
She's always working. God bless her. They're a little wonky, but yep. I love her.
Mama D's animals are always usually running around behind her. The 2 dogs. Really? That's funny. Yeah.
That's funny.
I love it. Well, mine used to come in here huffing and puffing. This grunting coming in. Run. Oof.
That's so funny. Yeah. So funny.
Oh, my God.
That's amazing. But this work is just really, I really invite you to come and play, because there's nothing quite like it. And it's only going to make things better. Right. There's no downside to coming, especially because it's free. So you get to just see what that's like. Yeah, that's awesome. So again, like this work can help with, again, so many issues like money, from childhood, especially if you grow up in a poor family like I did. Right. They always say money's the root of all evil. When you grow up in a rich family, it's not this. They're not going to be saying that. You know what I mean? Right. But, when you have that, and it's like, no, it's not. You know what I mean? It's okay to have, to work and try to get some money for yourself and try to better yourself and things like that. It's okay to do this. Right. As long as you don't hurt anyone in the process. That is, don't step on someone else's toes to do that, or do this to someone so you can do that. No, build yourself up and your own platform. Yeah, it's okay to make money. It's not a bad thing. And there's a lot of reasons that people don't make money. Like you said, sometimes it's because of these poverty traumas, or some form of it. You saw your parents struggling, so you think that's just what life is about. You're not receiving. You're not feeling worthy of receiving it. Sometimes it's trauma. I had worked with a wonderful gentleman who's just this wonderful guy. But anyways, he grew up and he was a vet. He was in first. He actually, as a civilian, was in World War II. He was experienced bombing as a child, and then when he was in his 20s, that's when he enlisted or was drafted into in the Vietnam War. So he is a civilian, and he had been a soldier. And had trauma on both ends of that. And then when he got out into the world, he was so traumatized that his money situation, kind of went kaflooey in certain places in certain times, that he was destitute. And we worked a lot on those traumas, the early traumas and then just, regular life traumas that just happen, and just healing them and doing other things. And he started getting really interested in investing, and he started reading Wall Street Journal and all these other investment things. And as he was getting clear, he started investing and started investing really successfully. And he got to the point where he said that he had more money than he'll be able to spend in his lifetime. And he grew up very, very modest. And then he got really poor, and destitute at one point, and then came back from that and into the space where now he's more money. He's able to help the people that he wants to help without affecting his station in life. And that's the beauty, is if you realize that money is an area of your life where you're just learning to love yourself more and receive more, because you may allow yourself to receive in relationships, but you don't allow it right over here or wherever it is in health, but not right. Yeah. Right.
That's that. Yeah. But right. The butts.
Exactly.
But not that.
Exactly. And watching the yeah buts are really, I always say most of us, our yeah buts are too big. And so, so it's, as you start creating an awareness about that, instead of yeah, but you can use and. That'll be different, because it's still, if you want to give something accurate, and also just hear the way you're communicating. Just start noticing, are you saying something that's really cool, and then you're saying something to bring you back down, whereas here's the big positive, but then I got to bring a negative one so I could recognize myself again. Right. And these are things that we do just as humans, because we just get used to it and we get real unconscious about it. And, we all know those people who complain all the time, and you usually, and it's just because they're used to it.
Yeah.
And they're used to being in that energy. They want to know that the world is just like, right.
Straining.
And straining to be around. And they're lonely because of it too.
Yep.
So when you start shifting those things around and, coming from that and bringing in that energy of someone who already had the version of you that has your needs met, you come from a much brighter and more hopeful and optimistic place, and you do make different decisions. And it's interesting that it really is a physiological, neurological rewiring that occurs. It's not just me saying an angel touches your head and you're going to see the wings and over there. I mean, I love angels. I'm not here to disparage angels, but this actually has research behind it that says, oh, this works, and you could do it yourself. And when you do it in this, where you get down into the future self work using theta, then you're really, really going deep and really getting it down and at a foundational level.
Now, I also have on my list here the removal of entities and unwanted energies from both the person and your home.
Uh-huh.
Now, that's my field.
Oh, that's your field? Oh, okay, cool.
Paranormal, you know what I mean?
Wonderful.
Like removing entities and things from your home. How do you do that?
Well, part of when you go into that meditation that I went into that process, you're accessing all the different planes of existence in life. And in theta healing, it's just ordered in a certain way, such rocks and minerals are the first plane. The second plane is it's like plants and medicines. And the third plane is where we are. And then animals and people. And then the fourth plane are the ancestors. And fifth plane is like the angels and kind of the, what is this? It's sort of fire and brimstone. It's like the highs and the lows, the angels and the, I don't want to say devil in that way, but the negative things, like the high beings and the negative beings. And then the sixth plane are the laws of the universe. And the seventh plane is that pure unconditional love and compassion that some people call God, some people call universe, whatever that name is for you, right? Divine.
Yeah. And then some people say, it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going,
Right. And so since you have access to all of those, when you're in this state, you can sense if there's negative presence around, and as like anytime somebody, it's sort of like, like energy attracts like energy, right? You throw a sandwich down on the ground and there's going to be ants on it really quickly. And so if you're not feeling well, or things like you have an addiction, right? That brings your energy down really, really low, and so low that more negative energies can glom onto you. And you can't, even with people who just complain a lot and aren't, any worse than that. But it's all this, me kind of energy or worse. And those energies are a little more stubborn than, maybe there's some sort of spirit or something that kind of lost their way, and you can send that one to the light. And so I learned a technique to remove them from places, if that's, or just people, because sometimes you get slimed by someone, have you ever been around somebody's company and you're just like, ugh, I feel so gross after that,
Well, and they change. People will change. If they have something attached to them, they change.
Yeah.
Your way you stand, the way you hold yourself, the way you talk, the way you act, there's something wrong here. And we call, there's really extreme removals, and then there's like cord cuttings. Like you can just is there a cord between this entity and this person, or is this thing right on you? You know what I mean? Like where you have to scrape the thing off completely,
right?
Or you just snip that cord. You know what I mean? And cut that relationship between you and this entity, spirit, whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely.
And all these things happen.
It's different, to watch it. Like you can tell if somebody's house is, has stuff in it, or, they're just depressed in their house, and every time they go home, and you're just like, oh, okay, so let's just clear that energy out of your house, and see what that is. But entities are really, they're a little stubborn, but pretty easy to get rid of. Now, obviously there's different levels of that. And I think the ones that I'm talking about are probably a bit lighter. And when you get into deeper,
Yeah, if someone calls me, it's
then
really
that's somebody
usually
else.
not, yeah, they don't think it's such a light thing, but it ends up being not really, bad. I mean, out of the many that I've done, there've only been a couple that have been really bad. And one of them was at my house, and I brought it in myself, and it's a long story, and that's another whole show. I did the things that I preach not to do. So, if I preach not to do something, please, I've learned the lesson. Don't do the things I say. Okay. But, like if someone calls me, it's a reason, so then you got to go in and you got to find out what's going on. And that's why we investigate the house, but we first start talking to the person, and then we go talk to the spirit, and then we try to make them, work together. If they can't work together, then one or the other has to go.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the spirit.
You're hoping that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and like I said, for me and the work that I do, it doesn't get to the intense level with it, but it does when people are really feeling weighed down, when they're feeling all that negativity around them. I know that those energies are there, and we clear them off and get them out. And then people feel like, oh, wow. Cause sometimes you just don't feel great. You wake up that way and you're like, oh, something maybe in the middle of the night got me. Or
the sound in the house changes, the atmosphere changes, everything's lighter, it's
right.
happier, it's, it does change. I mean, like instant.
Yeah, absolutely.
One time there was a crazy energy in a friend of mine's house, and he was sitting, he had this long, long, long hallway, and down there was this girl's room that she died. And he said, and he was like, he did a music production, like stuff. He did the soundboards. So he was always around bands and loud music and roadies and fangirls and stuff like that. And that was her. She was like this ultimate fangirl, always, you know what I mean? And that was her energy. But I couldn't stay in that house. Every time I went in there, it was just like, it was just painful for me to be there, because I can sense all these energies. And I said, you got to just let me try, to go talk to her. And I figured because it was so intense that I was going to have people come help me, right? Because I've done that before, having to have people come help me if it's, a really intense thing, or I've been the helper, you know what I mean? If it's even above my head, because I'm not the top, you know what I mean? I'm not a demonologist. I'm not any of those things. I do what I do, and I do it well. But I went down the hall, and he's sitting in the dining room. And I went into the room that she was in, and I started explaining what I was going to do. I was explaining that all of her issues that she could have had being alive was taken care of. All her items went, like Chris made sure that all the items went to the proper places where she wanted. He was very anal and OCD like me, you know what I mean? So he made sure all the stuff, and she wasn't sure. So now she knows. And then I said, but your presence here is disruptive. It's actually harming people like me. I can't stay here and be among the living here because your energy is too intense. But you really do need to go, and you really do have to realize that, you have loved ones waiting for you on the other side. Your family, your friends, your ancestors, they're all there, and they're ready with open arms. And I'm talking like this, and then all of a sudden, it's like she realized it and she left.
Wow.
And if you ever had like an old stereo, and you like turn that dial, like that squelchy sound where it's way up, and that that's what it was like in the house. When she left, it was like someone took that dial and went all the way boom, like this, and it was like boom, and the energy just dropped and then came back up and was quiet, like
that's great.
in a church. And he felt it all the way down there. He goes, "What did you do?" Screaming down the hall. And he's like, "Oh my God." And then he's like almost skipping down the hall. Like he was in it. He lived in it, didn't realize how bad it was, So that's the importance of getting these things out. So even these people say, "Oh, it's not bad, it's not bad." I've been in G's here that are not bad, and they can stay. If a bad one comes in, it's gonna go. you know. If they cross the line, they're gonna go. I think they know
Right.
it. They know it because I know it, that they know it. Like you're claircognizant, I'm claircognizant.
Right.
They know what you know, and they know what
Right.
I know, right? So they know we have the power to do what we need to do,
Mm-hmm.
and that's important.
I think I always think of entity energies like insolent teenager,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a bad mood and wants to mess with things. And yeah, that's funny.
yeah. But I mean, there's a reason why they're like that.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
okay,
Exactly.
well, I've been trying to tell you, stop changing my wallpaper. I want it this way. You can knock down that wall. And you know what I mean? Like, where's my pictures? Where's this? That's my favorite chair. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like stupid things. And it is childish things. But
Yeah.
if they're trying to get this information out and no one's listening, of course they're going to get frustrated.
Frustrated. Yeah.
Someone gets frustrated, the energy builds and builds and builds and builds.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And once they get, once it's known, just like fear of the unknown, once your fear is known, like you hear a noise every night outside
Mm-hmm.
and you're afraid of it, like, oh my God, someone's breaking in. But it's, I don't know, raccoons getting in your trash. You know what I mean? But but until you know what it is, you're afraid. Then the next time you hear it, and it's like, oh, I put a boulder on my, a cinder block on my dress. Those raccoons are not going to get in there. So, and it's like, all right, well, I hear the noise, but it's not going to bother me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's like relatable. Like as to what you do is to get you to be calm, to be centered, to be present, to be aware, to be, accepting, to have this root knowledge of things,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like a full circle thing. We all need it.
Yeah, we all need to clear that energy out. And when you, like you said, when it's energies from an event that's, intense like that, like where there's a death, or some sort of negative event that happened, like the energy just can go into the furniture, it can go into the walls, it can go into that. And that is, being able to clear that energy is a really great thing, because your chair doesn't need all that, or the wall doesn't need that, or the bed doesn't need that. And you don't want that just festering around. So, but I do feel grateful that I can do take that out of people, just the mood shift, just from those, those energies, just lifting them out. And if you're sad or you're depressed or you're mad, that's when those energies come in. And so when you heal the sadness, when you heal the anger and at the root, then those energies don't glom onto you anymore, because once again, your vibration is too high for them.
Right.
They can't, they don't want to play. Can't play.
Exactly. Because it's like, well, yeah, it's not fun here, so I'm going to move on to the next one. You just kick them out to move on to the next one. Because I mean, it's energy. You can't blow it up. I mean, you can change it, but it doesn't go away. Now can you explain what this is? The get out of your own way. Think theta.com/get-out-your-own-way.
It is a brief theta healing meditation. I do a lot of audio meditations for people so that they can listen to them like right before they go to bed. Evening meditations are great because whatever it is that you experience right before you go to bed, you see, you hear, you feel, usually marinates in your subconscious mind for the next, 7-8 hours, whatever it is, however much you sleep. And so in this one, and it's all energetic downloads like you got for this thing. And these are about probably like 5 minutes long. They're very short. And if you listen to them right before you go to sleep, then you get, an 8-hour benefit for a 4 or 5 minute session, which I think is really cool. A lot of bang for your non-buck here. And so get out of your own way is just about helping you get out of your own way, helping you heal self-sabotage through getting these energetic downloads. Once again, the more you do them, then it's a cumulative feeling for you. And you can just throw them in here and there. I do believe that the most power is if you do it at night. If you want to do it in the daytime, do it in the daytime, whatever works for you in those moments when you have a moment of free time. But
Right.
it's wonderful. I love that one, and because I think that's really at the heart of all of us in the places that we're struggling, is we're not out of our own way yet, and we can be our own worst enemies. And so this is a
Not
good
kidding.
place to start and work on that, and then come to the free preview so that you can really get a
Yeah,
big dose
Wednesday.
of good.
Yeah, that's
Big
going to
dose
be
of good.
amazing. I think I'll probably be there too. Um,
Good.
so this one here, thinktheta.com/love-yourself-meditation. I say that out loud for the audio only
Okay, cool.
versions. But so explain what happens here.
All you have to do is listen. All you have to do is listen to it, put it in your headphones or play it, and that's it. And you listen to it, you'll receive the downloads as you're doing it, and as you're listening, and that's it. And then you turn it off and go to sleep, and
Yeah,
that's it. It's
that's
very
wonderful.
easy. I'm not asking you for any homework other than, and always actually with all of this stuff, I always ask, there is always one piece of homework. Just notice what's easier and lighter. Because what you focus on shows up in your life more and more and more and more and more. So if you're telling yourself, oh, I actually feel happier. Where else do I feel happier? Right? Oh, I noticed that I'm having a better relationship with my sister. Oh, I noticed that's getting better and better. You start focusing on the solutions instead of the problems and what's happening. You'll always know what doesn't change. You'll always know what you want to change.
Right.
That
Right.
won't be a problem finding that. And it's
Yes.
more noticing the good things that are happening so that you can really start compounding the positive effects of all of this.
Amen. Amen.
And
Well, listen, we are at the end here. What's the best note you want to leave our people with?
really that everything that happens to you matters, and that we tend to go back into our past to try and justify our present and to predict our future. And I think it's really important to start from your present, because you cannot go back. We go back in our minds, but if you go back, all you're doing is going back to get, to punish yourself and to get that lower energy and bring it into your life. And so come from the present, bring in that energy of your future self, because that's going to be the empowering energy that you need to help lead you from the inside out into a better life.
And you can tell when someone has this, because you can see it from you. It's like you're a very calm and confident woman. Like you're just,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
and you live it. You walk your walk.
And look, we all, have our moments, and we all have places that, and I'm very human, right? And I wake up and I'm like, rawr, and I have these things that I focus on, and I notice where my challenges are, where I'm focusing that is a challenge and that is bad. And I go, oh, wait a second, I've got to figure out the difference is that I have a coping skill. I have theta to come back on, to find out why I'm focusing on it and heal the root causes of it. But also go, now I know with the future self work, it's like, oh, do I want to go to my past? To this one reminds me of the time somebody stepped on my toe, or I got fired from a job, or I had a really bad breakup. And then I'm sitting in all that yucky energy of that. No, I want to go, oh, wait a second. What if I just, in this moment of, I need to change my state. It's all about changing your state in the moment so that then you can go forward and really make something of your day, really make something of your time that you can be proud of. And it can happen very quickly and very easily. And that's what I love about this work.
Makes sense. It makes sense. It's very involved. It's very complicated, and yet it's not.
Right. Exactly. It's very simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid. That's a lot of people say that.
I feel every morning.
But thank you for coming back again. I would love to have you again. I mean, I just think you're so fascinating. I love what you do. I love you. Hang here for a minute. I'm just going to say bye to everybody. Play our little exit video here. And again, people, we will have no show next week because it is the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash that we will be going to. And if you're in Gettysburg, come down to the Eisenhower Convention Center and come see us. We'll be there at Vortex Ghost Gear selling all our equipment and having a lot of fun with some really great people, good friends, and good times. Oh, ciao for now.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests or our own intuitive oracle card reading shows. We are streaming live on Facebook on my personal page and our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, on Mama D's YouTube channel, Angel Meadows, as well as our audio-only venues. We hope you enjoyed our show and our guest or your reading, and we would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe, share, and definitely hit that notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.